Okay, guys. Interesting thing. Most of my games actually turned out to be pretty long. So I only got through 3. The first one, honestly, I'm not going to show you. It's me getting beat by Geargia because of all things. They happened to open up every single uh, limited back row in the entire game, and it basically just left me really salty. So, that's why I'm not showing you that one, but I will show you these two. Here I'm facing off against a Cosmic Dragon deck, and I realized, well, I was fairly certain that it was Cosmic Dragons. So I summoned Midrosh, and I start my plays. Now, I think that the new Shaddoll cards aren't working quite right yet, because I'm fairly certain that Shaddoll Fusion should act, well, you'll see what I mean in a sec. I think it probably should have activated Falcon's effect, but it didn't, which is very bad for me. And also I use a Crystal's effect, and from the wording on it I should also get the effect, but I don't. So I'm not sure if it's just an error or if I'm actually not supposed to. Now this actually goes on for a little while. It's mainly, he can't really do anything because mainly because I have Midrosh on the field. Now I honestly got scared. I was thinking that might be a D prison, but you'll see here why I realize it's not, because I attack with Midrosh and he doesn't activate it. Because obviously if it's D prison he would have. So I Valor the Mathematician because I don't want to deal with what he wants to send. And he sets a Dragon Incarnation. Activate my other Volcanic Shell just to deck thin because I don't want to draw the last one. And so I actually get to the point where I'm just like, you know what? I'm probably just not going to want to kill him. So I think probably the thing I'm actually going to want to do is, since he can't seem to actually do anything, especially since he now activated Cloak and Dagger, I can just deck him out from here. Because from what I could tell, he had no way to get rid of any of his back row. So I literally, the supply units are mandatory, so I could have just forced him to deck himself out. Or stop summoning his, well, they're Yang Zing now. They're going to be called Yang Zing. They still have their other names on here. And here, I face off against Telenites. Now, honestly, these aren't looking quite like how they were before. Like, they don't seem quite as long. Now, he draws into all 3 of his Dayneb. I keep him from summoning one this turn. I didn't think he'd have all 3. Now, if you're wondering why I didn't flip Super Poly here, it's because his effect would have still gone off. Super Polymerization would have gone second. I would have summoned my monster and it would have been sent back to the extra deck, even if I was going to get rid of this. Now, honestly, I was afraid he'd activate the effect here, and then I actually draw Effect Valor, so I can stop his effect next turn. I don't Valor the Vega. He does add Altair, and I do Valor this. And he activates this effect. I summon Nephilim, but he gets Altair's effect. I get Hedgehog, I get Nephilim. I send Beast. He summons his guy, Unuk. He goes to main phase 2, makes a 101, takes my monster. Actually, I set a Facing the Shadows, Mass Change second, and Shaddoll Falcon. Now what happens here is I send Hedgehog to flip Falcon and summon Beast. Vegas effect activates summons Dayneb, and he goes into this guy to basically compulse every other card on the field again. Now, I'd already got what I wanted, and he actually pluses me pretty hard whenever he does this, because he doesn't even stop to activate the effect. I don't know if he can't activate it on the turn he's summoned or what. Cannot special summon during the turn this card's summoned except Tellarknights. When this card's XYZ summon, return all other cards on field. Yeah, it seems like he should be able to, or at least he can. Actually, summon this. If you missed what Gristol did in the last one, he is essentially a Black Horn of Heaven that allows me to send a Shaddoll from my hand to the grave. And you'll see actually in this duel what I was talking about how I feel I should be getting the effects, but am not. You'll see on his turn. So I don't think he actually read any of my cards, because he's going through his plays and he adds a card. I guess he doesn't realize Dark Law lets me banish one if he adds one, because he could have just not activated Dayneb's effect, or maybe he just wanted to. And then he makes an XYZ that I proceed to negate and drop Beast for. And I draw into a Cursed Fig. If you missed my explanation on why I have Cursed Fig, I have Cursed Fig because I have, come on. Well, I've Masked Hero Acid, and I can summon it the same way I summon Masked Hero Darklaw, using a Cursed Fig. I know it may seem a little weird, but that's why. Fencing Fire Ferret, partially to get rid of troublesome cards, and partially for Gristol target. I do run 3 Volcanic Shells, as you probably noticed. But those are the only 2 I was able to do that were pretty good. Now, here, I think he was net decking somebody. Like, I really feel he was net decking somebody right here, because this doesn't seem like his own deck. It's got 1 MST in the entire deck. Yeah, I actually recognize this deck. I don't know if it's totally net decked, but I think it's pretty net decked. Oh my gosh. You know what's funny? I think whenever he went for Mathematician, he was actually intending to send his Archfiend Eater, so he could summon it during the next turn, or maybe Zephyros. I think he wanted to just set up something where he can make a synchro play, but I think just like the last guy, he didn't read Gristol. At least I read my opponent's cards I don't know. Apparently, a lot of people don't like to. Anyway, I play the 2 Dark Law. I play 3 Gristol. I'm just, like, this is testing. I'm probably not going to be playing 3 in the end. I probably won't have very much options to pull out more than 2 in a game. But him and Midrush on the same field is pretty bad for the opponent. I do have a few XYZs, just mainly because I had room. And in here, I know that, like, okay. Mass Chain says discard 1 card, then target 1 face-up monster you control. Send it to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon 1 Masked Hero monster from the extra deck that has the same attribute, but with a higher level. Now, I don't know about you guys, but to me this seems like it should count as being sent to the graveyard by a card effect and activate the effects of the Shaddolls. If I'm wrong about this, please let me know, because this entire deck idea is revolved around the fact that this is supposed to activate their effects as well, and to summon Dark Law. And as well as that, I'm even more certain that El Shaddoll Fusion should be activating their effects. Because it's a quick play where I fusion summon using cards. It's basically a regular polymerization. That's a quick play, and can only be used for a Shaddoll Fusion monster. Now, if I'm wrong about either of these, please let me know, because I really feel like both of them should actually activate the effects. I know that Mass Change shouldn't do it for the discard because that's a cost and not an effect, but I feel that sending it to the graveyard to summon it should be an effect, as well as Gristall over here. I really think that his ability to negate counts. What I do afterwards isn't a cost, so shouldn't it also activate the effects of Shaddolls I send to do the negation? If I'm wrong about these, please let me know. I really would appreciate it, because for my long time of well, not really long time, but for my time playing competitively, I've learned to read cards, especially since I've tried to become a judge twice. And the only reason I haven't become a judge yet is because I'm really bad with policies, because I don't like a lot of reading. But I do know for the most part about text reading. So in my opinion, those really should be the case. Now, about over here in game 2, you'll notice, like, if you haven't before, you'll notice that this duel between the two of us was actually really fairly incredible. And the reason why I say it was incredible is because, well, I won't say anything like it was absolutely fantastic or anything like that, but I honestly think it was a fairly incredible duel due to the... hold on. What is... okay. Sorry, I just wanted to see his extra attack. Okay, anyway, back to what I was saying. I think it was a fairly incredible duel because you get to see two of the new decks facing off at their finest. And in all honesty, this is one of the hardest duels I've had to do using Shaddolls. I won't say most of the duels seem easy, but most of the duels don't seem as hard. Well, I guess as hard is not quite the right word either. It doesn't seem as intense. It seems like Shaddolls just kind of allow you to, I won't say run yourself, but it works out fairly well for you. It's not that different from Lightsworn. You mainly put your monsters on the field. Everybody knows what you're trying to do, and their main goal is to try and stop you from sending your cards. Whether that's stopping your Shaddoll fusion or what, it just depends. Now, super polymerization, you'll see over here. Super poly. Come on. Super poly. Super poly. Okay. Discard one card. Send from either side of the field to the graveyard fusion materials. So it says send. Send the fusion materials. Just like every other fusion card. So El Shaddoll Fusion should be activating them. I swear. It should be activating them. And I'm really kind of upset that it's not yet. People from DevPro, if you are watching this, please just fix this. It is an issue because you can't really retain any hand advantage because you go through your hand fast, which is why you actually need hand advantage. Like, right there. In all honesty, I think Shaddoll Falcon should have special summoned itself in face down defense. Now, I'm gonna say this. This player, he needed to read what I had. Because he plays right into Dark Law's effect. He plays right into Dark Law's effect, and then he plays right into Eggerstall. Or Gristall. Depending on where you're looking. So, I do think there's some issues so far. But I'm really loving the deck from what I've played with it. So, I'll start showing more of it once they actually fix the issues with it. Until then, I will see you all later.